So you're thinking of moving to Coppell, Texas. Well, it can look like an easy yes on paper, but will it be easy for you when you get here? Coppell ISD carries an A+ overall grade in the research that I use to look at schools. Coppell is centrally placed for a lot of DFW work and travel patterns that you might have to experience when you get here. And 41.7% of households in Coppell have children. But the last citywide single-family median price point for homes that I pulled was around $635,000. If you live in Coppell, you'll find that it is very car dependent as well. And if you have a Coppell address, it does not automatically mean that your kids will be zoned to the highly rated Coppell ISD. So before you pay for the convenience of a location, I want to help you decide whether your family will actually use what Coppell will cost you to live there. In this video, I'm going to cover the established home search, the school verification step, the real daily life access, the all-in cost, and who should probably keep on looking. But a little bit about me. My name is Kristen Carpentier. I'm a Texas realtor and a mom of 4 who raised my kids right in Dallas-Fort Worth. Now, Coppell often makes sense when a family's life pulls them all in several different directions. Maybe somebody travels for work. Maybe one has an office in Irving or Las Colinas, Cypress Waters, or another part of North Dallas. Maybe you do not want to live on the far edge of the Metroplex. Now, that still does not mean every commute is going to be easy. DFW is still DFW. Traffic, the actual office, school drop-off, and where your life happens all matter. At least for us, they sure did, but Coppell can keep more of the metro in play than many of the outer edge suburbs can. Now, Coppell is also an established suburb. You are not going to be moving here to live in a huge new master plan community with endless builder choices. Instead, you are choosing mature streets, resale homes, parks, and easier routines that are already in place. Now, if that sounds a little more calming rather than limiting, Coppell may be the fit for you. But if your top priority is brand new construction, maximum square footage, and a lot of new home choices, it may feel a bit tight. Now, the useful question is not just, is Coppell expensive? Because frankly, it kind of is. The better question is, what am I buying here instead of getting more square footage or a new build somewhere else? In Coppell, you're buying an established location. Coppell sits on the DFW airport and Irving side of the Metroplex. And because of its location, you're attached to routes that lead you toward downtown Dallas, Las Colinas, Cypress Waters, Grapevine, and a lot of North Dallas, depending on where you will actually live and work within Coppell. Now, you are buying a place where the everyday pieces are already there, with plenty of city recreation spots and parks and Old Town Square with a few shops and restaurants and a great weekend farmers market. There are also plenty of established neighborhoods and, of course, for some, easier school routines. You can see those things when you visit, and they are not just a future promise. You're buying into a school reputation that puts Coppell on a lot of shortlists for families with kids. But that reputation is not a substitute for checking that exact address of where you're actually going. What you are generally not buying in Coppell is the newness of an area. Compared with Prosper, Salina, or some parts of Frisco, you may get a newer home or more house for the money in those particular areas. But Coppell asks you to value its location and its established lifestyle more than a brand new floor plan. That is neither going to be right nor wrong. It's just going to be a different type of a purchase. So before you decide that it's a premium that you want to pay, make a short list of the things the location can actually change for you by living there. Having a shorter trip to work may really matter to you. And being able to get to the airport without turning every travel day into a production could also help save your sanity. But if your work is further up north or your kids' activities pull you in that different direction, and maybe your closest people are elsewhere, that same location may not earn its premium spot in your week. That is why I would never choose Coppell just from looking at a pin on a map. Put your work, school, the airport, grocery store favorites. Yes, there is a Trader Joe's in Coppell. Your weekly activities and family routes on one map. Then compare the same routes from the other suburbs that are on your shortlist. The result is going to be way more useful than a really broad statement that one place is more central than somewhere else. And expect to have a resale conversation. The citywide median price point is only going to be the starting point. Do not use it as a promise for a specific home. Price can change quite a bit with condition, lot location or size, the updates that were made, the home's location within the city, and the school assignment that's actually attached to the particular address. We can pull current listings and sold data when you are ready to take some action. In an established market like Coppell, one home may be beautifully updated, and another may need a bit more meaningful work, that we'll call it. Two homes that look pretty close online can have very different practical costs once you add in the age of the roof, the age of the major systems in the home, the layout, and the work that you will want to do after closing. I recommend that you start with your priorities, not just a price filter. Would you rather have a smaller, updated home close to the parts of your life that you use? Or maybe some more space with lots of updates, a particular school assignment, or a home with or without a pool, or one that's sitting on a larger lot? Families often start their visits in Coppell around Old Town, North Lake Woodlands, and River Chase. Those are some useful starting points, but definitely not shortcuts to making an offer. The actual home, its condition, HOA, if it's applicable of course, and school assignment matter more than a neighborhood label in Coppell. Now, getting into the schools, Coppell ISD has an A+ overall rating and an A+ academics grade in the niche.com data that I used for this video. That is a pretty meaningful reason why families put Coppell on their list when considering making a move here to DFW. But here is what I really want you to hear. A Coppell address is not the same thing as a Coppell ISD assignment. I know I talk about it all the time, but it can make or break your decision when wanting to purchase a particular home. The city profile estimates that most of Coppell does feed into Coppell ISD, but there are some smaller portions that feed into Louisville ISD or the Carrollton Farmers Branch ISD. That could be a warning flag for some, not a guarantee for any home. So before you write an offer, use the school district's official address lookup, then verify the assigned campus directly with the district, especially if that assignment is part of why you are paying more for a house. You should do that before negotiating, not after. Boundaries and attendance assignments can also change, and an online listing description is not always going to be totally accurate. There are times when I get calls from clients wanting to relocate here and they send me their own list of houses that they find online, and then they're a little bit surprised sometimes when their search can't bring up more specific data like my search can, which is another reason why I always say to reach out with questions so we can discuss your top priorities and how I can help you find what it is you're truly looking for. As a realtor, my job is also not to tell you which district is better for your child. Your family gets to make that decision. My job is here to make sure that the address, the district, and school information that you are relying on are actually connected to the home you are considering. And I recommend that you look beyond the letter grade too. Check the school commute, the specific campus and activities that matter to your child, and how long you expect to stay in the area. There's also another practical question you should ask with resale homes. How much of your cash do you want tied up before move-in? An updated house at a higher price can be a much easier transition, but a home with more room for improvement can make sense too, but only if you have the budget, the timeline, and the appetite for it. Those are not cosmetic questions when you are relocating with kids, work, and a moving deadline. I would ask for the documents on a home early. Things like the seller's disclosure, HOA information, if it fits and if it's in one, even the utility history if the sellers have it available, and all the other important details your inspector and insurance professional might need. Those aren't just about finding a perfect house. It's about knowing what you are agreeing to, so that convenient address doesn't turn into a surprise project. And one more distinction. A district boundary is not the only school question that you should be asking. Even after you confirm the district, you confirm the assigned campus and the process for any program, transfer, or choice school option that you are considering. Don't rely on a neighbor's experience or a listing's school fields. Use the district as the #1 authority. For all my families moving from another state, I would plan the school conversation before the house hunt gets a little bit emotional. Bring the ages and needs of your children into the first shortlist call. That lets us eliminate homes that cannot meet the practical school requirements before you spend a weekend touring them. A normal Tuesday test can be pretty useful here. Where are you dropping off your children? Where do you work? What does an after-school activity do to the route that you're taking? And where do you buy groceries, meet friends, or spend a weekend morning? If those answers are mostly in the places Coppell connects well to, the location is where you'll want to focus. If not, another suburb may give you a different kind of convenience for a lot less money. Coppell's location can work well when life is spread between the airport, Irving, Las Colinas, Cypress Waters, Richardson even, and other parts of North Dallas. But central does not mean walkable. Coppell's walk score is only a 23, so it's classified as very card dependent. You can have trails, parks, and a good neighborhood routine here, but most errands, activities, and work trips still are going to happen by car. That matters because some people hear convenient and picture walking to coffee, groceries, restaurants, and everything else. That is not the Coppell proposition for most addresses. The better question is going to be, is it convenient to what you personally repeat, your airport trips, an Irving office, your school pickup, the sports for your kids, or maybe your family that lives on the other side of town? Build your weekly map, then drive it at the times that you would actually use it, or check all that data on Waze. That will tell you more than a generic drive time estimate. The purchase price is only going to be the first line of the Coppell decision because these are established homes. Budget for condition, for maintenance, things like older systems in the house, like your HVAC and hot water heater or your pool equipment. Then check out insurance costs and costs for potential updates. Is there an HOA? And of course, the ever-increasing property tax picture. Texas property taxes are address specific. You have the county, the school district, and the exemptions that you qualify for, and the home will all affect the total. Do not assume that a citywide rate or another buyer's bill will be your exact number. Verify the exact tax information and speak with your lender, tax, and insurance professionals for advice that is specific to you. If you want more specific details to run your numbers, then use a realistic worksheet. For the actual purchase price, your down payment, the lender payment estimate, taxes, insurance, HOA dues, making sure to have that maintenance reserve and money to have set aside for updates. That is how you can compare Coppell honestly against a newer home that is maybe quite a bit further out. Sometimes Coppell is still going to win. If the access to things that you genuinely need and will use is going to save you time, or the established location fits your routines, it may be worth paying a little bit more. But it should be the winner in your actual life, not just on a spreadsheet headline. Coppell's advantage is that it is going to help you feel more settled in. The places we talked about, like Andy Brown Park, Old Town Square, and city recreation options and trails, the local activities and opportunities help give families places to build that routine without waiting around for a growing up suburb to catch up. Granted, that can feel a little limiting if you want constant new openings or a large walkable entertainment district that's pretty close by, or the kind of neighborhood that's built around a resort-style pool and amenity center. You'll find that Coppell is more practical and residential than flashy. Coppell can be the fit if you value an established location with lots of big, beautiful trees and a top-tier school reputation. And of course, having a resale home in a pretty centrally placed part of DFW. It may not be the right fit if one of you is really craving that new home construction. That will give you more square footage with a walkable lifestyle. A suburb does not need to be wrong for it to be wrong for your particular move. So before you get attached to a house, decide what the premium is supposed to solve for your family. Maybe it is a more manageable work pattern. Maybe it is a particular school assignment. Maybe it is choosing an established home where the neighborhood lifestyle already exists for you. Write down your top requirements before you start going and checking out homes that are for sale, because it can help give you something more useful than a vague feeling that Coppell just seems like it will be more convenient for you. Then maybe compare Coppell to one alternative that gives you a bigger house or a newer build, and find an alternative that serves your work or school routes from a different direction. Use the same budget, the same must-haves, and the same weekly routine for all three. And if Coppell still ends up winning after that particular comparison, you are paying for something way more concrete. And if it does not, that is useful information that helps you gain more clarity with your decision before you spend time and energy chasing that wrong address. Also, don't forget to leave enough room in the budget for the move itself. Relocating has costs beyond the house, from inspections and having to make some repairs after closing. Then you add in the costs for moving and setting up that new routine. And sometimes you might even have a period after you get moved in where every decision you suddenly need to make feels extremely urgent. A home that stretches every part of the budget can make an otherwise good location feel a little bit less convenient once you are actually living there. The best Coppell choice is one that fits the whole move, not just the list price. So before you commit, I would do one simple exercise with the 2 particular homes or neighborhoods that are actually competing for your attention. First, confirm that school district and which campus your kids will be assigned to. And it doesn't always have to mean just the high school boundaries. For each of the addresses or neighborhoods that you're considering, check that through the official school district lookup website. Don't just assume that the Coppell address is going to settle that question. Second, check the routes that you may need to take for those homes. How are you going to get to work or to the airport? Travel the route in person for yourself if that matters to your household. And if your kids need after-school care, what will that look like with the routes that you take every day? And don't forget about all those weekend activities and where those are going to be located. Check them all and run them at the times that you would really use them, not just on a quiet afternoon when you can squeeze in some time. Third, compare the full ownership picture. Look at condition, the inspection items, HOA rules, and dues if those apply. For sure, the address-specific tax information, insurance, and the updates each home will need or has already made. A lower list price can change pretty quickly once those pieces are in the picture. Now, that exercise is not going to be glamorous, but it is how you find out whether Coppell's convenience is real for your family or whether another home and location will fit your life better. So is Coppell's convenience worth that premium for the right family? Yes, absolutely. When the location gets used every week, the home works for your budget and update appetite, and the exact address checks the school box you need it to check. Do not pay the premium just because the city name is going to sound right. Verify the address so that you can run the full monthly number and test the routes that will shape your actual life. If Coppell is on your short list, watch my Coppell Texas tour next. It will help you see the city while this video gives you the decision framework. And if you're still sorting through DFW, trying to decide where you want to land, grab my free family relocation guide down below. When you're ready to talk specifics, use the Get Started link, or you can always give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. It is going to be me that you will get on the other end of the phone. And until next time, take care.